Now on CoastTV News.
Cool ocean water and an umbrella, not just accessories, but necessities during the first major heat wave.
Police tape and armored vehicles, the lasting images after a deadly standoff in a quiet neighborhood.
The trail that keeps on going, where you can find this nature walkthrough.
And we are in the midst of a hazardous heat wave in our neck of the woods. Take a look at this. It feels like 124 in Milton. Extreme heat is here to stay.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
Police breaching the home of an armed suspect. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. On your screen now is Blackwood Drive in the Lewis area. According to police, this is where Jason Arnold was found.
Arnold there after an hours-long search following a shootout with police. CoastTV News reporter Emma Aiken live in Lewis. And Emma, police say it ended with Arnold shooting himself.
Maddie, we're just outside of the street where police say they found Jason Arnold dead after shooting himself. As you can see, Blackwood Drive is still caution taped off and there is a police officer down there. But before that happened, it was a very tense scene here. A lot went on while we are in Lewis. This all started in Dagsboro. Police say they responded to a home in Dagsboro Sunday night for a welfare check on Jason Arnold after a report that he was threatening to harm himself and family. Police say Arnold had a gun and they tried to pull him over before he ultimately ended up in Angola at his house here in Lewis. It started very early this morning. Neighbors told us they were asleep when around 3 a.m. police came to their door and told them they had to get out. Nathan Porter, like many other neighbors, says this is extremely out of character for this neighborhood.
Definitely different. A little scary with the kids. Went out back, just really close to home, so a little worrisome, especially when you kind of sleep through it.
Police say when Arnold finally did stop, he shot at police and they fired back. No officers were injured, and this is an ongoing investigation at this time. Reporting live in Angola, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
Delmarva is dealing with its first heat wave of the summer season. Coast TV News reporter Zakiya Jennings is live in Milton. Zakiya, Coast TV meteorologists are tracking near record-setting temperatures for the next few days.
Charlie, Coast TV meteorologists say it feels like 123 degrees right here in Milton. I can confirm that is true. But over in Rehoboth Beach, lifeguards are always on the lookout for people displaying signs of heat exhaustion or heat stroke. But the lifeguards also have to stay cool in this heat. One lifeguard tells us the many ways they take care of themselves includes staying away from sugary drinks like soda and Gatorade.
Nutrition as well. Getting in the water, doing the water workouts is really saving grace when it comes to these long, hotter days.
Coast TV meteorologists are tracking this heat wave, which will continue into Tuesday. Live in Milton, Zakiya Jennings, Coast TV News.
That heat wave Zakiya just mentioned, cooling centers are beginning to open across Delmarva, including one in Wicomico County. The cooling center at the Wicomico County Civic Center will be open for periods of time through Wednesday evening. The cooling center was open today from 2 to 5. It will reopen tomorrow from 1 to 7. Wednesday, then from 3 to 5 p.m.
And we're taking a live look into Laurel right now. It's hot there too as we check in with our First Alert Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams. Paul, break down these numbers because they are eye-popping.
Indeed, they are near record high with just the temperature alone. And then when you factor in the heat index, it's a whole nother level. We're at 98 in Milford right now. Just to kind of show you this, and I usually don't, but this is our almanac for today. 99, that's one away from tying the record high today, which was 100 set in 1988. Now, we had to track this heat the old-fashioned way. I literally went from site to site and tracking it throughout the day. We got up to 101 in Willards and Redden. 99 for us in Georgetown. Seaford, Long Neck, and Milton peaked at 98. Harbison, Delmar, as well as Jones Crossroads and Milford. And remember, this is the temperature in the shade, okay? Here's a look where we are with the temperatures. We're at 101 in Redden, 99 Georgetown, 97 in Laurel, Delmar, and Gumboro, but it feels like 120 in Milton. It actually got up to 124 briefly, 111 in Seaford, 112 in Redden. We have what is now called an extreme heat warning. in effect for just about all of the Delmarva Peninsula. This little slice along the beach is a heat advisory, which is a little bit better, but not by much. Where you see all the pink, that's where we're concerned about 110 or worse. We're also under that same warning in the Cambridge area, and the extreme heat warning is in effect for the folks right over here towards Berlin, St. Martin, Liberty Town, and down towards Ironshire and along Highway 113. Now, once again, but for the beaches, we're under, at the very least, a heat advisory, watching out for 105 heat indices there. And for tonight, this is kind of eye-popping, we'll cool down to 98 degrees at 5 o'clock. That is not a joke. And then we may finally go back into the 80s after the sun goes down, Maddie.
80s at night. Wow. Well, thank you, Paul. And the extreme heat is also dangerous for our pets. At the Humane Animal Partners in Rehoboth Beach, dogs were seen playing in the shade area and even in a small pool. Hap shared some tips that you definitely want to keep in mind when you're walking your dog.
Keep the walk short and sweet. When it's hot outside, if you do take them for too long of a walk or they are having a heat stroke, signs of that would be excessive panting, excessive drooling, difficulty breathing, vomiting, diarrhea, pale colored or a different color gums, which would be bright red or blue or purple.
Hap says if any of that occurs, you need to bring your pet inside and try to cool them down as best you can.
And it's not just Delmarva that's cooking. Look at these roads across the Midwest, across Middle America, in South Dakota, Colorado, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Missouri, and more. Roads buckling from the heat. It comes as a potent heat dome is building over the U.S. A level 4 of 4 extreme heat risk in place throughout at least Thursday. It stretches from the Midwest to the Mid-Atlantic and includes some parts of the Northeast. And that brings us right into our Coast TV poll. Hey, what's the best way to beat the heat?
Let's take a look at the results so far. Take a look at your screen and you can see 82% say, can we be inside with some air conditioning? Though cold drinks, shade breaks, and beach breeze, those are all pretty good.
All of those other things are things that help. Inside with the AC is probably my answer there. If you haven't voted or if you want to leave a comment about the heat, go to coasttv.com or use our mobile app.
New at 5, a Pepsi semi-truck hit a cable line and tipped over near Route 1 at the Wawa in Rehoboth early Monday afternoon. Take a look at the video here. That's according to the Rehoboth Beach Volunteer Fire Company. They say the crash happened around 12:55 and a section of the highway was shut down for a period of time.
Now to conflict in the Middle East. Iran answered Saturday's airstrikes with an attack of its own today, firing missiles at U.S. forces in Qatar. President Trump had warned Iran not to retaliate. NBC's Monica Alba has details from Washington.
Iran's retaliation is underway. Iranian armed forces saying it targeted the Al Udeid air base in Qatar after the U.S. bombed 3 nuclear facilities over the weekend. U.S. officials say they had been notified of threats against U.S. forces on bases in Bahrain as well as other countries in the Middle East. President Trump meeting with his national security team in the Situation Room this afternoon. After Saturday's attack, the president had warned Iran about any retaliation.
Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier.
2 officials telling NBC News that before the weekend attacks, Iran had warned the president if the U.S. conducted airstrikes on Iran, it could potentially activate sleeper cells it claims to have in this country.
There's a lot of bluster coming from Iran, but we do have to take seriously the threat that Iran has placed inside the United States, teams of people who could go after soft targets.
Today, we're getting a look at those targets in Iran, Isfahan Technology Center taking a direct hit, and Natanz, a crater remains where a bomb fell. But it's difficult to determine damage at the Fordo facility, buried deep underground. And it's unclear where Iran stored its enriched uranium and if it was hit, though the administration is confident it was.
We have a high degree of confidence that where those strikes took place is where Iran's enriched uranium was stored. The president wouldn't have launched the strikes if we weren't confident in that.
Iran turning to Russia for aid, the country's foreign minister meeting with Russian President Putin and saying Iran will coordinate its response with Russia.
Qatar has condemned today's attack, calling it a violation of its sovereignty, and the president continues to monitor the situation closely. He's scheduled to depart for the NATO summit in the Netherlands tomorrow morning. Monica Alba, NBC News, the White House.
A new trail has officially opened up in Fenwick Island, the Fawcett Oakey Family Nature Preserve. It's where people can cool off in the shade and take a long, relaxing stroll with nature. This was made possible by a conservationist, Austin Pete Oakey, who handed off the land to Fenwick Island with an agreement to preserve the 2 parcels for the environment, and pretty much everybody we spoke with is just loving it.
This is lovely for the folks that live here and for the tourists.
According to Fenwick's mayor, the town will be sure to keep it clean and maybe add even more to the trail in the future.
What does it really take to feel financially secure? What a new survey says Americans think they need.
We have some dangerous heat ahead for the next few days. I'll show you why coming up.
But first, addressing safety concerns in Georgetown, the town one step closer to making it safer for bicyclists and pedestrians. Up next.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
Improving safety for bicyclists and pedestrians in Georgetown, it's been in the works for a while. The town is one step closer to hearing outcomes from a study that's been 2 years in the making.
Coast TV News reporter Ana Sofia Roman shows us how the community feels about it.
Making Georgetown safer for bicyclists and pedestrians. That's the goal of the Georgetown Bicycle and Pedestrian Study. Longtime bicyclist Tom Orden says he feels safe riding around town, but there's always room for improvement.
I feel comfortable because of the wide berms and the fact that I have a light on the back of my bike. I have radar that warns me when cars are coming, but I'm out of the traffic lane and quite a bit off of it, so I feel comfortable.
The study focused on the major intersections on North and South Bedford Streets and East and West Market Streets.
Georgetown's a very walkable community. Certainly with anything, there's areas that we can improve. So some of the crosswalks that we don't have, or some crosswalks that need improvements, I think those will be some of the things that come out.
Some, like local Alvin Marshall, shared his opinion on what is needed.
You need more lights in the town too, a little more lights. More walkways for pedestrians. You need more signs so people can see that, people are walking.
Making Georgetown safer as the town continues to grow. In Georgetown, Ana Sofia Roman, Coast TV News.
We have extreme heat warnings in effect for the entire Delmarva Peninsula. We're going to talk about when we'll finally get some real relief. An extreme heat warning has now taken something we would take for granted leisurely, sunshine, and now have to be a bit leery about it. Let me explain. In Lewis right now, we're at 99 degrees, dew point temperature in the 80s. That's a lot of heat and humidity in place, and will cool down to 92 as the sun goes down right after the 7 o'clock hour, going into the 8 o'clock hour. Here is a look at the highs. 99 in Georgetown officially, 97 for the high in Cambridge, Salisbury, and 95 for the high, Ocean City. We've jumped by 12 degrees in Georgetown, 7 degrees more, Cambridge. Here's a look at the temperatures right now in some of our other locations. 99 in Long Neck, 97 in Milton, Milford, 101 in Redden, and 98 in Willards, but we were actually warmer than that in Willard, up to 101 earlier today. Dew point temperatures are well into the 70s. This is beyond just muggy or uncomfortable. This is dangerously high because when the dew point temperature, a measurement of the moisture content in the atmosphere, is at this kind of a level, it causes significant breathing problems. Let me show you something. It feels like 108 in Georgetown and Delmar. In Milton earlier today, it felt like it even got up to 124, just to kind of give you a feel as to the extreme that we've been through. When you have problems like that, air quality becomes a secondary concern and problem. And we're already seeing the effect that's happening. We've gone from good, green, to moderate, yellow. If we go over into orange, that's unhealthy. But you can see we're trending away from good air quality throughout the region as a whole. Extreme heat warnings have been issued for this afternoon, will stay in effect tonight, tomorrow, going into Wednesday until 8 o'clock. That includes places like Liberty Town, St. Martin, Berlin, Orange-Shire, Ocean Pines. Also throughout Sussex, including Bridgeville, Seaford, Georgetown, Millsboro, Selbyville, as well as Pepper Box and Delmar along Highway 13. And for the folks that view us over in Cambridge, you are also under the same extreme heat warning that will stay in effect until 8 o'clock Wednesday. Widening the scope of this, remember I was referring to the air quality? Well, you'll notice air quality alerts are now issued just to our north. We're in the same general region right now, so we won't escape that. Near record-breaking heat for the next couple of days. Dangerous heat in place, a very stubborn dome and a dominant dome of high pressure will stay in full effect. So hot and hazy for Tuesday, Wednesday oppressive heat, and the UV index is also a third concern. First of all, for Tuesday, look at the highs, 90 in Rehoboth, 93 Ocean City, 95 at the very least in Lewis. Take a look at our expectation in the morning time. We start off at 80 at 6:30 in the morning. Then we climb to 100 for the temperature expectation for Millsboro, Milton, Georgetown, Seaford. So we're looking to clock 100 across the board. Wednesday, not much different. 97 to 98, that will be the range. And if we're lucky, we'll get a sprinkle in here to try to slow us down. Typically, we save the skeeter meter for Thursday, Friday, but this time we actually needed to show it to you because we're going to be extreme for Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we'll be at a very high level for Thursday because the muggier it is, the more problems we have with mosquitoes. How muggy? How about this? We're in the miserable category and we stay there and keep touching back and forth there Wednesday going to Thursday till we get this rain here Thursday to change things up. 102 for later tonight. Look, we're looking at 104 to 107 at the very least on Tuesday, 105 in Georgetown and Millsboro on Wednesday. Thursday, we're still in triple digits for Thursday, and then even going into Thursday night, that's when we'll finally get a break. Last but not least, the UV index level of 9 Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We drop briefly on Friday, then we're going back on Saturday. Finally, here's a look at the extended forecast. We're calling for an extension of our first alert days to include Tuesday and Wednesday, Charlie.
Thank you, Paul. Comparing bank accounts is a fast track to a bad feeling, but Americans have decided what they think it takes to feel financially secure.
It's a pretty big number. According to a new survey from Bankrate, 45% of Americans think they would need to make $100,000 a year or more to, quote, feel comfortable.
A quarter of Americans say it would actually take $150,000 or more. On the flip side, 45% of Americans said they'd feel financial freedom making less than six figures. 34% said that they would feel comfortable making at least $50,000 overall. 77% of Americans said that they do not feel completely financially secure. Coming up tonight on DSN Live at 6:15, it is the Maryland Supreme Basketball League. Then catch the final score at 10:30. And on the DSN Plus app, along with the boys basketball game at 6, it's girls basketball in the Crown Sports Center High School League. And we're going to have boys lacrosse at 6:15. More boys basketball in the Maryland Supreme Basketball League. And coming up right now, how JetBlue is turning to tech to help people track their luggage via Apple AirTags. Stay tuned on Coast TV News at 5. If an airline has ever lost your bag, you know just how much of a pain that can be. But now JetBlue is turning to tech to try to help people track their luggage via Apple AirTags. Now that is so long you provide the tag. The airline announced Tuesday, or today rather, that customers who place AirTags or Find My Network accessories in their checked bags will be able to share tracking data with JetBlue's baggage service team in the event that their luggage goes missing. JetBlue said it is also adding a new mobile app feature that provides customers with real-time updates on the status of their checked bags.
If you're the grill master of the house, listen up. According to Wells Fargo, a 4th of July barbecue for 10 people with all the traditional offerings will be about $130 this year. That's up 2.2% from last year, but many Americans might not notice anything too unusual. It's a relatively normal price increase following 5 years of pandemic-fueled inflation. Tariffs don't appear to have impacted 4th of July food prices yet because most of the menu items are produced domestically. Let's take a live look outside into Lewis. A beautiful look, but super hot. Check on the forecast after this.
Coming up new on Coast TV News at 6, a Stell Parker Selby voter shocked with how his party is handling the long-term absence.
We have extreme heat warnings in effect right now for everyone. Watching out for 110 heat index or worse for the next few days till Wednesday night. Dorothea Matty of Hurlock, Maryland, you are our umbrella giveaway winner, courtesy of Paul Davis. Keep up with your forecast and this heat by calling our weather line, sponsored by the offices of Brockstedt, Mendalis, and Federico. And finally, here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. Listen, we're extending our red alert days for Tuesday, going into Wednesday as well. Please stay hydrated, stay in the shade, be mindful of this heat.
All right, Paul, thank you, and thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 5.
For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
Inside Edition is up next.
And we'll see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great evening.